For many years, Rick Ross and 50 Cent have been throwing shots at each other from far away. They didn't fight face to face. Instead, they used words. Songs, interviews, Instagram posts, laughs meant to embarrass each other. This beef has been going on for more than 15 years. Everyone thought it would always stay online. But then one night in Canada, things changed. That night showed the world that this beef was no longer just about diss tracks. It became real. It became physical. Rick Ross tried to act like nothing happened. 50 Cent smelled weakness. And Drake quietly showed which side he was on. And that's when everything exploded. The date was June 30th, 2024. The place was Vancouver, Canada. Vancouver sits far away from Toronto, but everyone knows Canada is Drake's home country. That matters a lot. Rick Ross was in town for the Ignite Music Festival. For him, it should have been a normal show. Walk on stage, perform hits, collect the check, leave. And at first, everything went fine. Rick Ross finished his set. The crowd was loud. Fans were happy, no problems at all. Then, as Rick Ross walked off the stage, something happened that changed the whole night. His DJ played Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. This wasn't just any song. This was the diss track that embarrassed Drake on a global level. The song that accused Drake of terrible things. The song that made Drake the internet's punching bag. And now it was playing. In Canada. In Vancouver. Playing that song there was either extremely brave or extremely stupid. Maybe both. What happened next was caught on video. The footage spread everywhere within hours. In the video, Rick Ross is walking through the venue with his team. Suddenly, around 15 men surround him and his crew. You can feel the tension through the screen. Someone demands the song be turned off. Words are exchanged. The mood changes instantly. Then's boom. A man throws a punch at Rick Ross. Chaos breaks out. Security gets overwhelmed. One of Ross' team members is knocked to the ground and beaten badly. Multiple people are kicking and punching him while he's down. It's ugly. The internet goes crazy. Millions of people watch the clip. Memes explode. Everyone has an opinion. Rick Ross, the biggest boss, just got pressed in public. Then something surprising happened. Drake liked a video of the fight on Instagram. The caption said, "Y'all already know this is Champagne Pappy Town." That one like said everything. Drake wasn't neutral. He wasn't shocked. He wasn't sad. He approved. That single action showed the world how broken his relationship with Rick Ross had become. Rick Ross RSBUNDS, sort of. Rick Ross tried to brush it off. He posted a photo in front of his private jet and wrote, "Vancouver, it was fun, till next time." He told TMZ that no one was seriously hurt and said Vancouver was a beautiful city. But everyone knew the video told a different story. And then, 50 Cent entered the chat. When Curtis Jackson, better known as 50 Cent, speaks on Rick Ross, nothing is accidental. These two have hated each other for over 15 years. So when the Vancouver video dropped, 50 Cent didn't miss his chance. He posted a video, pretending to be concerned. He spoke calmly, seriously. Then he laughed. He mocked Ross' crew. He joked that Ross needed better protection. He referenced Meek Mill's Dream Chasers, which was extra disrespectful because Ross is Meek's boss. Then 50 posted another clip showing Ross escaping the chaos. Caption, "The Great Escape." And he didn't stop there. On July 6th, 2024, 50 Cent performed in Ottawa. He told the crowd, "I can't believe what y'all did to Rick Ross." He pretended to look for the attacker in the crowd. "Who did it? Was it you? Who said Canada was soft?" The crowd went crazy. Later, in Toronto, he did it again. "Thank y'all for making me feel at home, because some of y'all kicked Rick Ross' ass." This wasn't random. This was revenge. On July 4th, Rick Ross went on Instagram Live. He said he was never punched. He claimed he scared the guy just by looking at him. He said someone threw a drink on him, not a punch. But the video didn't match his story. Still, this is Rick Ross. He always controls his own story. Then things got even messier. Rick Ross' ex, Tia Kemp, went live on Instagram. She roasted him nonstop. She laughed at him. She said he didn't fight back. She called him fake tough. And then Drake entered the comments. Drake posted Canada Day photos. Tia commented. Drake replied with a heart emoji and called her my goat. Rick Ross saw that. He fired back in the comments, calling Drake names and throwing insults. At that moment, it was clear. This was no longer just rap beef. This was personal. This part hurts the most. Rick Ross and Drake were once close. They made huge songs together. Aston Martin music. Lord knows. Stay scheming. Money in the Grave. They even planned a joint album. But in 2024, Drake released a diss track and took shots at Ross. Ross responded immediately with champagne moments. The insults got nasty. BBL jokes. Plastic surgery jokes. White boy insults. No turning back after that. Later, Ross admitted something important. Many of his usual people couldn't travel with him because of past criminal records. He said if he had more of his real crew, things would have gone differently. The hatred between 50 and Ross started in 2008. Over a look. A stare. Then it turned into diss songs, cartoons, public humiliation, leaked tapes, lawsuits, bankruptcy. This wasn't just rap. It was psychological warfare. And it never ended. DJ Khaled hopes peace is possible. But even he admits it's unlikely. Ross himself says it probably won't ever happen. And 50 Cent. He enjoys the war too much. Rick Ross now has enemies everywhere. 50 Cent won't stop mocking him. Drake quietly enjoys his downfall. His ex laughs online. Yet Ross still claims he's unbothered. Maybe he is. Maybe he is. But one thing is certain. That Vancouver footage isn't going away. And neither is this beef. Thanks for watching. Check out the other videos on screen. For more than 15 years, Rick Ross and 50 Cent have been at war. Not with fists. Not with guns. But with words. They attacked each other through songs, interviews, jokes, memes, and social media posts. Every time one slipped, the other laughed. Every time one failed, the other reminded the world. Most people believed it would stay that way forever. Just rap beef, just internet drama. But one night in Canada changed everything. Because this time, it wasn't a song. It wasn't an interview. It wasn't a tweet. This time, it got physical. On June 30th, 2024, Rick Ross stepped onto a stage in Vancouver, Canada, expecting a normal night. Another show, another check, another city crossed off the tour list. Fans cheering, lights flashing, music booming. And at first, that's exactly what it was. Rick Ross performed. The crowd was excited. The energy was strong. Everything felt normal. Until it was. As Rick Ross walked off the stage, his DJ played a song that never should have been played in that place, at that time. Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. This wasn't just any rap song. This was the song that embarrassed Drake in front of the entire world. The song that turned Drake into a punchline. The song that accused him of things that ruined his image. And now that song is playing. In Canada. In Drake's country. In a city that loves Drake. That moment was like lighting a match in a room filled with gasoline. What happened next shocked everyone. A video spread across the internet within hours. Grainy, shaky, but clear enough to tell the story. Rick Ross walking through the venue. Men surrounding him. Voices raised. Tension thick in the air. Someone demanded the song be turned off. Then, without warning, a punch was thrown. Chaos exploded. Rick Ross' security was overwhelmed. One of his team members was knocked to the ground and beaten by multiple people. Kicks, punches, no mercy. The biggest boss had just been pressed in public, and the internet lost its mind. Memes flooded social media. Jokes spread fast. People argued about what really happened. Some defended Ross, others laughed. But then something happened that made the situation even bigger. Drake liked a video of the fight. One click. One like. That was all it took. That single action told the world where Drake stood. Rick Ross tried to act unbothered. He posted photos. He smiled. He said everyone was fine. But everyone knew the truth. Because when Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent, saw that video, he didn't feel sympathy. He smelled blood. And when 50 Cent smells blood, he never lets go. What followed wasn't just trolling. It was a reminder. A warning. A victory lap. Concert after concert, post after post, joke after joke. 50 Cent turned Rick Ross' worst moment into entertainment for millions. And this wasn't random. This was the latest chapter in one of hip-hop's longest, ugliest wars. A war that started with a look. A war filled with humiliation. A war that never ended. And now, with Drake quietly choosing sides, Rick Ross wasn't just fighting one enemy anymore. He was surrounded. After the Vancouver incident, Rick Ross tried to control the story. He posted a picture in front of his private jet and wrote like nothing happened. He told reporters that no one was badly hurt. He called Vancouver a beautiful city. But the video said otherwise. And then 50 Cent stepped in and made sure no one forgot. 50 posted a video pretending to be concerned. He spoke calmly, like a teacher giving advice. Then he laughed, hard. He mocked Ross' team, saying the punch didn't reflect Ross, it reflected his weak crew. Then came more posts. A clip of Rick Ross escaping the chaos. Caption, "The Great Escape." 50 wasn't done. At his concert in Ottawa, he talked directly to the crowd. He joked about what happened. He pretended to search the audience for the attacker. The crowd loved it. In Toronto, he did it again. He thanked Canada for making him feel at home, because, as he said with a smile, some of y'all kicked Rick Ross' ass. This wasn't just jokes. This was revenge served cold and loud. Rick Ross eventually went live on Instagram to tell his side. He claimed no one punched him. He said he scared the guy just by speaking. He said only a drink was thrown. But the footage didn't match his words. Still, Rick Ross has always been good at one thing, controlling his own story. Then things got even messier. Rick Ross' ex, Tia Kemp, jumped online and started roasting him without mercy. She laughed at him. She called him fake tough. She embarrassed him in front of everyone. And then Drake responded to her comments with hearts and praise. That moment confirmed what fans already suspected. Drake and Rick Ross were no longer brothers. They were enemies. This hurt because they used to be close. They made hit songs together. They had chemistry. They planned albums. They shared stages. But in 2024, Drake dissed Ross on a track. Ross fired back immediately. The insults became personal. Jokes about surgery, race, money, respect. There was no turning back. Ross later admitted something important. Many of his real friends couldn't travel with him to Canada because of past criminal records. That's why his crew was smaller. That's why they were overwhelmed. And 50 Cent, he loved every second of it. Because their war goes back to 2008. Back to a stare. Back to disrespect. Since then, they've attacked each other nonstop. Through music, cartoons, interviews, lawsuits, and humiliation. This wasn't rap beef anymore. It was personal. Now Rick Ross stands in a strange place. His oldest enemy laughs at him on stage. His former brother silently approves his downfall. His ex mocks him online. And yet, Rick Ross says he's unbothered. Maybe he is. Maybe it's just an act. But one thing is clear. That night in Vancouver changed everything. And this war is far from over. As the dust settles from that night in Vancouver, one thing becomes impossible to ignore. This was not just a bad moment for Rick Ross, and it was not just internet drama. This was a turning point. A moment where years of quiet tension, old grudges, and broken relationships all crashed into each other at the same time. For Rick Ross, the Vancouver incident was more than a confrontation. It was a test of image. For over a decade, he has built himself as the biggest boss, a larger-than-life figure surrounded by power, wealth, loyalty, and respect. Mansions, luxury cars, private jets, champagne, confidence, control. But hip-hop is not only about money or music. It's about perception. It's about presence. It's about how people see you when things go wrong. That grainy video from Vancouver didn't care about narratives. It didn't care about captions or Instagram posts. It showed a raw moment, confusion, chaos, vulnerability. And once moments like that hit the internet, they never disappear. They replay forever. They become jokes. They become ammunition. Rick Ross tried to laugh it off. He tried to move forward. And maybe, on a personal level, he really is unbothered. Maybe he truly sleeps just fine at night, sipping champagne, surrounded by success that most people could never imagine. But hip-hop history doesn't work that way. Because history remembers moments. And this moment gave his enemies exactly what they had been waiting for. For 50 Cent, this was not just entertainment, it was validation. A reminder that patience can be deadlier than anger. He didn't rush. He didn't need to swing. He let time do the work. One video did more damage than years of diss tracks ever could. And 50 Cent didn't just comment, he owned the moment. He turned it into jokes. He turned it into stage material. He turned it into crowd participation. Night after night, city after city. He reminded the world that Rick Ross had been embarrassed on foreign soil. That is the kind of psychological pressure 50 Cent has always mastered. He doesn't just win battles, he makes sure you remember them. Then there, Drake. Perhaps the most painful part of this entire situation isn't the punch, the memes, or the laughter. It's the silence, the like, the heart emoji, the quiet approval. Drake didn't need to say a word. He didn't need to diss Ross again. That single action, liking the video, spoke louder than any verse ever could. It confirmed that the brotherhood was gone, that loyalty had expired, that whatever respect once existed was no longer there. In hip-hop, betrayal always hurts more than beef. Rick Ross didn't just lose a moment, he lost allies. And in a culture built on alliances, that matters. Even DJ Khaled, the ultimate peacekeeper, couldn't confidently promise reconciliation. When the man whose entire career is built on unity hesitates, you know the damage runs deep. So where does this leave Rick Ross? Surrounded by enemies, mocked by rivals, questioned by fans, yet still standing. And that part matters too. Because if there's one thing Rick Ross has proven over his career, it's resilience. He has survived scandals. He has survived exposure. He has survived industry attacks that would have ended most artists. Time and time again, he has absorbed the hits and kept moving. The question now is not whether Rick Ross will survive. He will. The real question is, what does survival look like now? Does he respond with music? Does he ignore the noise? Does he reinvent his image again? Or does he lean into the chaos and turn humiliation into fuel? Hip-hop legends are not defined by perfection. They are defined by how they handle failure, embarrassment, and pressure. Every great figure in this culture has at least one moment that tested their myth. This was Rick Ross' moment. And how history judges it is still being written. As for 50 Cent, his role is clear. He will not stop. He never has. 15 years later, the war is still alive because he refuses to let it die. Some people call it petty, others call it dedication. But one thing is undeniable: when 50 Cent locks onto an enemy, he never lets go. And Drake has made his choice. Quietly, carefully, coldly. The lines are drawn. The footage remains. And the internet never forgets.